Aloha, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of Omens. I'm JayDreamerZ, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. Welcome to special Rapture edition. A lot of people are going around the internet saying that today is the day that the Rapture will happen, and everyone's going to disappear, and there will be all of the evil, or non-believers I should say, left behind. You know, I think that's interesting. There's still time left in the day. But we're going to talk about that as an omen. I just did a special Rapture video, if you want to check that out, where I actually explain the mechanics of the Rapture, because I actually do believe in it. But I just see it in a different light, from a different perspective. So with that being said, let me check on the chat. Make sure you guys can hear me okay. I see a lot of thumbs ups. Don't get sucked up, says Jeeps. What's up, everybody? Daily dose of Twitch clips. David Levi, Tom Bueller, Orel, Julie McGuigan, Julie Miller. What's up? Amber Hill. Who else? Moonbeam 19. Louis Martinez. Suzanne Guerreau. Wannabe MG Toe. Babette Chambers. Amber Hill. Everybody. All right, cool. Hey, let's jump right into some of the things that are happening around the world. I think this is going to be an exciting episode because there's a lot of weird stuff happening in the world these days. All right, let's get the screen share pulled up here. Hey, there we are. High five to everybody in the chat. All right, sweet. Let's jump right over into what's going on in the world today. This first one says, mysterious fireball captured shooting across the Texas sky. And it asks the question, what was it? But then they show you a picture of a rocket, right? So let's check out the videos. There's a lot of weird things that are happening in the skies these days that we didn't have when I was a kid. All right, you got spirals, you got vortexes, you got weird things look like they're opening up. You got crazy trails, you got fireballs that are lighting up the entire sky pretty much. I think I actually have it pulled up right here. Is this it? Oh yeah, this is it right here. All right, cool. So let's check out this particular fireball video. So here it is. As you can see, these strange lights just flying. Well, almost looks like horizontally in the sky up there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. I didn't know the audio was on. So this is something to pay attention to, okay? All the strange things that we're seeing in the heavens these days is definitely an omen of what is to come. Why? Because whenever the firmament cracks open and the dome breaks open, we're going to see strange lights in the heavens. We're going to see weird, lots more comets, lots more falling stars, fireballs, and stuff like that. The ancients paid attention to the skies. They looked at stuff like this. Now these days, they're going to tell us that this is NASA, that this is SpaceX, and it's just regular satellites that just do this all the time. Problem is, this didn't happen all the time. We've had NASA around for quite a while, and it's only until recently, whenever SpaceX came onto the scene, that people started to see what looked like fireballs. And I've seen other things too, not just little fireballs like these. I don't know if this video is very good. But just gigantic, gigantic fireballs. Make the call, right? Strange objects seen in the heavens. Fireballs flying across the sky. Sometimes they light up so bright, it looks like daytime again. All right, next up we've got robots. So as we've talked about many different times, technology out of control is definitely an omen of the apocalypse. This article says China's humanoid robot head startles viewers with a lifelike facial expression. So this is just the head of a robot, and they got to start somewhere before they put it onto a body. Let's check it out what it looks like when it's in action over here. All right. You see that? Blinking and everything, looking around, just like me. All you got to do is stick this onto like a robot body or something. And pretty soon, all of our science fiction movies and everything is going to come to life. And like I say all the time, there's truth in the movies. You should definitely go check out my playlist called Truth in Movies. I've got, over 100, I think, different movies that we've decoded. The last one was pretty good. We're going to do another one that coming up this weekend. But the robots are taking control. I mean, they're basically making robots to replace human beings. It seems to me that that's what they're actually trying to do, that they're trying to rebuild the human race from scratch. This one says nightmare bacteria cases are increasing in the United States. And they show you the CDC nightmare bacteria. So bacteria is becoming more and more prevalent in the news, and people becoming infected. There's a lot of infected people that are getting infected through fungi, bacterias, neurotoxins, as we've talked about many different times. And this is concerning to me, to say the least, because a lot of the bacteria, I believe, is because the world is becoming bacterial. The world is becoming toxic and disgusting. And when the world becomes the most toxic, it stands to reason that's the time when God or Mother Nature or whoever would come to clean up. That's when the wrecking crew comes in. That's when the cleanup crew comes in. You know what I mean? This says bacteria that are difficult to treat due to the so-called NDM gene primarily drove the increase. So yeah, they're talking about how there's like all these super bacterias that are rising up to the scene and stuff. Let's get to the topic, which is the rapture. Okay, this is a huge omen. Now, this happens all the time, but this year in particular, as a matter of fact, every year it seems to be getting more and more views, more and more talk, right? More people are talking about the rapture and omens and the apocalypse and the book of Revelation coming true. And that's just from a Christian perspective, right? This says why TikTok is freaking out over the rapture. And here you got the TikTok Jesus. It says, scroll through TikTok and it might feel like the end of the world. The big picture, videos about an alleged rapture have taken TikTok by storm as the end times discussions finds a new vehicle, algorithmic social media. Some Christians generally see the rapture as an end times event when believers ascend to heaven during Jesus Christ's second coming. As you might imagine, there's plenty of skepticism and division over how the rapture would play out. If you want to know my perspective, go check out my last video. It's got the word rapture right there on the thumbnail. That's where I actually break down. Hold on, let me take this down real quick. So I made this video that is all about the quote-unquote rapture, okay? And it's just, it's very interesting. I break down the actual mechanics of it. I talk about the horn blasts. I talk about, the atmospheric depressurization and all the... Do you hear that? Oh, I think there's something happening right now, actually. Oh my... I don't know what's...
That saved to fear and grace, my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed.
Meine Damen und Herren, die Kürze erreichen wie Köln Hauptbahnhof. Alle Anschlüsse werden dort erreicht. Wenn Sie in Köln aussteigen, dann können Sie Reise Mesdames et internationale. Auf Wiedersehen. Mesdames, Messieurs, donc avec les minutes, nous arrivons en gare de Cologne. Tous les trains de correspondance sont assurés. Dames en heren, avec les minuten bereiken de station van Keulen. Als u in Keulen uitstappen, dan kunt u met iets internationaal hebt gereisd. Tot ziens. Ladies and gentlemen, next stop in a few minutes, Cologne. If you leave our train, thank you for choosing IC International train. Goodbye.
Roger. We'll send down a group of 2 people, ETA 14 minutes, 15 minutes from now. Over. Roger that. Over.
Three,
Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, India, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, Mike, November, Oscar, Papa, Quebec, Romeo, Sierra, Tango, Uniform, Victor, Whiskey, X-Ray, Yankee, Zulu. All units in the area, please be advised. Suspect vehicle is heading towards the city centre. Prepare for potential road closures and deploy resources accordingly. Over.
bunu istedik. Onu önümüzde devletleri kuruştaydı akşamlığı bizde hatta taşlar imkanı gibi. Devletimizle geçer içlerinde boşa edelim. Devletleri onu kabul etmemekle beraber kayıtlar.
So, hi everyone, it's now day 21 underground, so it's exactly 3 weeks since we departed the world above. After 7 weeks of grueling work, day in day out, constructing our makeshift bunker and gathering supplies in the blistering heat, which was getting hotter and hotter by the day. And I think it's pretty safe to say that we were quite literally on death's door by the time we completed it. All of us with heat exhaustion and dehydration. But we made it and we're satisfied with what we've put together. It's a little smaller than what we had hoped for, but it's cozy, and there's only 9 of us down here, so it's not too cramped. We've all got our own little space, albeit small space. And of course, the majority of the space is taken up with the supplies that we're hoping will last us 5 years in the best case scenario, if we're careful with it, and 3.5 years if we start getting a bit greedy, which hopefully won't happen, but we're quite content in our new home, or the freezer as we call it, which is obviously sarcasm, but it's a hell of a lot cooler than outside. It's a constant 82, 83 degrees, which I think is about 27 or 28 Celsius where I come from, just about tolerable for me, but I do have a lot of trouble sleeping in it. Unlike my American counterparts who, as soon as they put their heads down, are out like a light, which can be very frustrating at times when I'm tossing and turning and sweating profusely because I've always preferred the cold. I'm not one for the heat, but to be honest, I can't even remember what it feels like to be cold anymore. I'm kind of jealous of the people on the other side of the earth enjoying their ice age over there, the lucky bastards. No, I'm just kidding, but I guess somewhere in the middle would be perfect. But today it is, let me see, it's currently 147 degrees outside, so that's about 62, maybe 63 degrees Celsius, bloody hell. But anyway, it's a lot hotter than it was when we first came down here. At the time, it was about 120, but we did expect it to rise. We were warned that it would, hence the reason we built the bunker. But we're hoping, like we've been told, that the Earth will gradually start rotating again, slowly at first, and then start picking up momentum, where we will have somewhat of a fluctuation in temperatures. Obviously nothing like we had before the event. Those days are over, but enough of a fluctuation that it's possible to spend some part of the day or night outside. If we ever see night again, that is, because right now, it should be night, but it's not, it's just more endless daylight, and I've always been a night person too, so that's pretty shit. I definitely am on the wrong side of the earth. I like the dark and I like the cold. I should have moved to Australia or somewhere like that before all this happened, which ironically, for what was once such a hot country, is now currently in the freezer section of the earth, while we are in the fucking microwave. But anyway, you play the card you dealt. I can't really complain. We're still alive, and I've got my beautiful wife down here with me, who is currently engaged in a riveting conversation about form and spoons. And I've also got my beautiful, lovable, albeit little rascal of a daughter, Natalie, who's 5, and she keeps her dad's spirits up and his mind working by constantly asking him the most bizarre questions that he never has the answers to. But yeah, all things considered, we're doing pretty good, and we have to remind ourselves every day that there are probably billions of people worldwide that are in a much worse situation than us, whatever side of the globe they're on, and so many people didn't have the time or the means to prepare for such a situation, and sadly, hundreds of millions have probably already perished. I don't know what side is suffering worse, but at least on the cold side, you can find ways of staying warm, as hard as that may be. But you can insulate places, especially smaller spaces that are easier to keep warm, and obviously get a fire going if you can, and wrap up warming whatever clothes you have, but that's easier said than done. Obviously, if you don't have the materials to insulate your home, or the
This is an official emergency broadcast from the United States federal government. Your attention is required. Please listen carefully. The continued spread of the Crimson Rot pandemic constitutes a critical threat to national security and the lives of all American citizens. The mandatory stay-at-home law remains in full effect nationwide. Any individual found outdoors without explicit authorization puts themselves in immediate and extreme danger. We repeat, any individual outdoors without explicit authorization is in immediate and extreme danger. It is essential to understand the nature of the Crimson Rot virus and the threat it poses. Those infected with the Crimson Rot virus display a distinctive and extremely dangerous behavioral shift. They exhibit violent, aggressive actions directed towards uninfected individuals. This behavior is instinctual, driven by the virus's manipulation of their neurological systems. The infected do not possess any capacity for rational thought or reason. They cannot be reasoned with or pacified. Their sole objective is to attack and spread the virus to other individuals. The infected typically engage in group attacks and, in the early stages of their condition, show a considerable increase in both physical strength and agility. These enhanced traits make it exceedingly difficult for individuals to escape an encounter with them. Those who find themselves targeted by the infected face a statistically low chance of survival. Therefore, adherence to the stay-at-home law is not merely recommended, it is absolutely crucial for your survival. You must remain indoors. Secure all entrances and windows and minimize your contact with the outside world for the duration of the state of emergency. Failure to do so is a profound risk to your own personal safety. Furthermore, it is critical you understand the severity of the measures being taken to combat this pandemic. Military and authorized law enforcement personnel have been granted the authority to use lethal force against any individual displaying symptoms of the Crimson Rot virus. This is a strict shoot-to-kill policy enacted by the United States federal government in its attempt to contain the spread of Crimson Rot. If you are found outdoors and mistakenly identified as infected and are subsequently fatally wounded by authorized personnel, this will be considered entirely an outcome of your own negligence. You have been duly warned. You will bear the full responsibility of your exposure for being outdoors. Authorized personnel executing the shoot-to-kill order will not face any legal repercussions for their actions in the line of duty. It is imperative that we take no risks in managing the containment of this virus. The guidelines for the application of lethal measures have been explicitly outlined. Given the significant threat this virus poses to our nation, there can be no room for leniency. Thank you for your attention. This is a national emergency broadcast. This message is being transmitted across all broadcast frequencies. Please remain calm and listen carefully. We understand that this is a profoundly unsettling time. The ongoing Crimson Rot pandemic presents an unprecedented challenge to our nation and to the world. We are acutely aware of the fear, uncertainty, and grief that many of you are experiencing. We acknowledge the profound loss so many have endured as families and communities fracture. The United States government share in this pain. The administration itself grieves for those we have also lost to this horrific disease. However, the most crucial thing you can do at this moment is to remain calm. Panic is counterproductive. It breeds chaos, hinders progress, and amplifies the very dangers we are striving to overcome. The United States government, in close collaboration with its international partners, is actively engaged in a comprehensive, multifaceted response to this crisis. Every resource at our disposal is being mobilized, our men and women in uniform. Our medical professionals, our scientists, and our civil servants are working tirelessly to bring this situation under control. The most brilliant minds across the globe are dedicating themselves to the urgent task of developing a vaccine and effective treatments. They are working at an unprecedented pace, exploring every viable avenue to combat the disease. We must have faith in their expertise. This is not an easy task, yet we are confident that the solution is within our grasp. Until that moment arrives, we must all exercise extreme discipline and patience. We acknowledge the significant responsibility this imposes on all of you. However, your adherence to these measures will ultimately contribute to saving lives. We must maintain order and work together to navigate this crisis. Engaging in senseless violence, looting, and rioting will not help. Such actions undermine the efforts to contain the disease and further jeopardize the safety and well-being of everyone. Any person or collective engaged in these harmful practices will be apprehended. They will be subject to an extensive investigation, and prosecution will be carried out to the utmost limits of the law. Please be advised that during this period of national emergency, any person or group found to be deliberately undermining our containment and recovery efforts, through the spread of misinformation, the hoarding of vital resources, or any actions that obstruct our collective response, will be subject to prosecution for crimes against the state. Such actions pose a significant risk to public safety and may be treated as acts of terrorism. The repercussions for these offenses can be extremely serious, including the possibility of the death penalty. We understand the deep-seated fear and anger that many are feeling at this moment. However, it is essential that this sentiment is directed towards the true threat, the Crimson Rot, rather than against one another. The government is fully committed to utilizing all resources to regain control over the virus. We are in this together, and we will emerge from this crisis together. The strength of the American spirit is its capacity to endure through the most challenging times. Please remain vigilant, calm, and above all, united. This is a national emergency broadcast. Stay informed through official channels and remain calm as more updates will be forthcoming. This is an emergency alert system broadcast. This message is being transmitted across all broadcast frequencies and communication networks. This is a mandatory announcement. Your immediate attention is required. As you are all now aware, a mandatory nationwide stay-at-home order is in effect, dictated by legal requirement under the National Health and Security Act. This order is not a suggestion. It is the law. The purpose of this order is to contain and eradicate the rapidly spreading contagion of the Crimson Rot virus. To ensure your safety and the safety of your community, you are required to remain indoors at all times. While inside your residences, it is imperative that you wear a protective face mask at all times. This will reduce the potential for airborne transmission within your home. Please ensure your mask is properly fitted and covers both your nose and mouth. It is crucial to reiterate that anyone who is outside their residence without explicit authorization is in direct violation of federal law. The only individuals permitted to be outside during this time are law enforcement personnel, emergency medical services personnel, military personnel, and other authorized individuals who play a vital role in managing this national emergency. All other individuals are to remain indoors. The seriousness of the Crimson Rot virus demands strict adherence to this order. Those currently outside without legal authorization are not only putting their own
The only option is to go underground, like we have done. And then you're contending with the same sort of problems, food and water. And although we've stocked up, our supplies can only last so long. And after they've ran out, your guess is as good as mine as to what we will do next. But the constant heat, even down here, is just inescapable. And with obviously having to have ventilation down here, the smoke from nearby forest fires sometimes travels down the vent and starts choking us, which is pretty horrible. I mean, when you step outside for just a second and look around, it literally looks like a depiction of hell. The landscape is in flames as far as the eye can see, and I don't think a single tree has been left standing. It's just one massive incinerator out there. Everything has caught fire. The sky is filled with plumes of smoke. The ground is scorched and completely void of life. There's ash blowing about in the wind, the air completely chokes you, and then as for the heat, it's, well, as you know, like stepping into a fucking oven. So, there's no right side of the earth to be on, but if I could choose, I think I'd be on the opposite hemisphere. I think I'd be better at adapting in that type of environment and better at finding solutions and helping those around me. Whereas at the minute, I'm just a sweaty, lethargic mess of a man, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll get used to it. I'll have to. But anyway, we're having a bit of a party tonight. It's Tom's 40th, so we're going to crack open a few bottles of wine and get drunk. That's the plan. But hopefully we won't go too crazy and wake up tomorrow morning only to find that we've drank every last drop of alcohol in the bunker that would truly be a catastrophe. I mean, a rogue planet invading the solar system and fucking up the Earth's orbit would be nothing compared to that. So anyway, I'm going to go and start getting a bit of wine down me before the bastards drink it all. So stay safe out there, wherever you are, which is hopefully underground in the best sense of the word. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.
So goddamn hot the chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs.
And I found my boyfriend burned to a crisp. His face looked like an overcooked beef burger.
Trap this fire all around my dog is with me. You need help? Please send help.
I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be able to hold on. We're just totally exhausted and dehydrated and burned from the walk here to the caves, which was a place we frequented a lot when we were first dating, and we had a lot of good times here, didn't we?
Yeah, we definitely do, which makes it all the more harder being here.
Yeah, it does. But, yeah, we don't know what our next step is, because we have very little water. We have barely any food, just whatever we could carry in our backpacks, which will last us a few days. But that's about it. But, I mean, the caves do provide some kind of respite from the conditions outside at least, but it's still, what is it?
It is, let me see, it's 109 degrees in here, and it was 143 outside.
Yeah, so there you go. It's still extremely hot in here. And I keep thinking for a second, well, at least when night comes, the temperatures will drop. Oh, wait, there is no night anymore.
Yeah, I keep thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So that's a real kick in the balls every time you realize that. But anyway, what do you think? Where do we go from here?
To bed?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm exhausted, but at the same time, I don't think I could sleep.
No, me neither, but I think we need to try, and I think we just need to reassess our situation after we get some rest and weigh up our options if we have any, but it's definitely best that we stay put here for the time being.
Yeah.
Because if we leave and go look for help or whatever, the heat will kill us with the condition we're in. So we need to rest up for at least 48 hours, I think, and make a plan in the meantime as to what we'll do after that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm just too exhausted to think right now, but obviously if there's anyone out there listening who has a safe place to go and who has food and water that they can possibly spare and would be willing to help us out, I know it's a long shot, but we'll be listening out, and yeah, that would be very much appreciated, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, it's worth a try, I guess. But just look at that, Sarah. My God, what a view. Did you ever think you would see anything like that in your life?
No, I certainly did not. And it's not a view I ever wish to see either.
We're both just staring out the mouth of the cave, and it's the first time we've really gotten a chance to take it all in because we've been walking all day, but that is something else. It's like a landscape straight out of hell. Everything that can burn is burning, and the whole horizon is in flames. The sky is just plumes of thick, dark smoke, and there's like an orange glow everywhere from all the fires, and there's ash blowing around. Some of it is coming into the cave. It just looks like we're witnessing the end of the world.
It really does. And maybe we are.
Alright, come on. Let's get some rest.
Yeah. Stay safe, everyone.
They were scorched by the fierce heat, and they cursed the name of God who had power over these plagues, and they did not repent and give him glory.
About 2 weeks ago, where we found him laying out back, and he was badly burnt from being out in the sun for hours on end. He was obviously very dehydrated, and he was completely unresponsive, almost dead in fact. So we took him in to our shipping container / new home below ground, and we fixed him up a bit. And remarkably, thank God, he's made a full recovery, and he's a pleasure to have around the place. And well, he's here now, and he wanted to say a few words, so the floor is all yours. Go ahead, my friend.
Thank you, Ball Papa. Much love, much respect. Shout out to Ball Papa's lady, Betty B, the macaroni queen. Man, she do the best macaroni and cheese this side of the hemisphere, y'all. For real. She be fattening me up. DJ Apocalypse getting chubby at the hips. I'm all double chins and extra pounds of blubber and shit. They gonna have to wheel my ass out of here if she keep feeding me the way she's doing. But you know I love it, mama. Much love, much appreciation.
Woke up this morning, sun shining bright. He came down early just before light. He's got a special treat, something on a dish. A lovely way to start a little bangers and mash. Oh, bangers and mash, serving it hot. Start the day right, give it all you got. A taste so rich, it's hard to resist. Who knew breakfast could be like this? He's got the sausage, I've got the fry. Throw in some beans, watch the heat rise. A sizzle, a pop, we're cooking up fast. I can't get enough of his bangers and mash. Oh, bangers and mash, serving it hot. Start the day right, give it all you got. A taste so rich, it's hard to resist. Who knew breakfast could be like this? Now feeling full, but the morning's still young. Guess there's many ways to have some fun. Like with a little of the night, you see. Bangers and mash works perfectly. Oh, bangers and mash, serving it hot. Start the day right, give it all you got. A taste so rich, it's hard to resist. Who knew breakfast could be like this? Now bangers and mash, serving it hot. Start the day right, give it all you got. A taste so rich, it's hard to resist. Who knew breakfast could be like this?
You an angel, and for real, as my boy was saying, I was laying out there, my ass getting cooked on the brink of death by Ball Papa. He's a hero, y'all. He dragged my crispy ass down here. He worked his magic, fixed me up, and you saved my life, Ball Papa and Betty B. And I can't put into words how grateful I am. I mean, the big man be looking down on me that day, and he dropped my ass on the doorstep of two angels for real.
Well, thank you, DJ. That's very, very nice of you to say that, and it's been a pleasure having you here. And you've certainly brought a lot of life and color to the place. Sorry, I don't mean color in that way. You know the way I mean.
Somebody help me. I'm trapped down here with the clan. Shit. Ball Papa probably got some underground cotton plantation. That's why Betty B be fattening me up. She getting my strength up for working the land. DJ Apocalypse need to start pulling his weight around here, and his ass gonna be auctioned off or some shit. No, but for real, I am forever indebted to both of you. You're the kindest people I ever met in my life. You invited a stranger into your home, nursed me back to health, fed me up, got me back on my feet, told me some great old tales from the olden days, back when you were both...
Bangers and mash, oh, bangers and mash, serving it hot. Start the day right, give it all you got. A taste so rich, it's hard to resist. Who knew breakfast could be like this? Now feeling full, but the morning's still young. Guess there's many ways to have some fun. Like save a little for the night, you see. Bangers and mash works perfectly. Oh, bangers and mash, serving it hot. Start the day right, give it all you got. A taste so rich, it's hard to resist. Who knew breakfast could be like this? Now bangers and mash, serving it hot. Start the day right, give it all you got. A taste so rich, it's hard to resist. Who knew breakfast could be like this?
Over your mouth. Oh, Pop, where you at? Just over your mouth, Betty B. I got you. Come on. Oh, Pop, where you at? Call out. Call out, Ball Papa. Listen, Betty B, I'm gonna carry you up the stairs. Keep your head down. Ball Papa, I'm coming back for you. Hold on.
whatever, I don't care. It was never about the money. This is still the Joe Rogan experience. Whether or not I'm getting 20 million listeners, 20 listeners, or no listeners at all, this is still the Joe Rogan experience, except the only one experiencing it is me and my wife and kids, of course. But I think they've had just about enough of the experience by now. So obviously I have no guests because they're all dead, which makes being a talk show host a little more difficult. But I mean, I can still ask myself questions and interview myself. Why not? I mean, I find myself quite interesting. I know some shit about all kinds of shit. So, yeah. Hi, Joe. What are you doing, man? I'm good, Joe. How are you? Yeah, all good, man. Holding up. Bit hot, but that's to be expected. I mean, our existence has been reduced to being human casseroles inside a cosmic fucking oven, but I've got a great tan. I'm high on vitamin D, and I'm just vibing off that solar energy, man. What about yourself? How you doing? Oh, same as you, because I am you, and I think my sanity has finally cracked. I drew a mustache on myself the other day with my wife's mascara, and then tried talking to my reflection in the mirror whilst pretending it was somebody else, like an interview, but it didn't work out. I just got frustrated, and we have no mirror now. So that's 7 years of bad luck in store, as if we needed it on top of all the other shit. And yesterday, I somehow convinced myself that this whole thing was a conspiracy, that the temperature outside was actually normal. So I stuck my head out of the bunker for a few seconds to prove it to my wife, and I can confirm it is fucking hot, like hot, hot. Don't get me wrong, I like a bit of sun, like to catch some rays, but incineration is a shade of tan too many. There cannot possibly be anything alive out there. It is a goddamn incinerator. That's what it felt like. Even just those few seconds were unbearable. It was like opening an oven door after you've forgotten to take the pizza out after 5 hours. The blast of heat just completely caught me off guard. And I mean, down here in the bunker, it's a constant 91 or 92 degrees. That's as low as we can get it, so it's not like I've become unaccustomed to it. But it must be like 170 degrees out there. It's a hell of a lot hotter than it was 3 or 4 weeks ago when I last tried going outside to prove to my wife and kids that I could find a source of water within an hour. I couldn't. I lasted 7 minutes. I collapsed a couple meters from the entrance of the bunker, got severe heat stroke, a badly burnt head, because stupidly I wore no head covering. My wife looked out and saw me, the sunlight bouncing off my baldy scalp. She somehow dragged me into the bunker to safety, and then didn't talk to me for a week, which made the experience, the Joe Rogan experience, all the more lonely. But I was just trying to fulfill the role of a man and provide for my family, like a caveman going in search of a mammoth. That's how I thought of it, like a quest for the source of life. And thankfully now I have found an outlet. Beanie hats, which obviously are useless now considering the circumstances. We have 2 polar bears, a walrus, and 3 penguins, which help remind me of colder times. I don't know why I didn't take up crocheting earlier. It's very relaxing, like finger yoga. But anywho, don't be stupid like I was. If you're in a safe place, just stay there, wait it out as long as you can, and however long it takes, the earth will start spinning again. I'm sure of it. And if it doesn't, well, we're quite simply fucked. Toasted on one side and frozen on the other forever. And that's a very bleak prospect. But what are you going to do about it? I mean, you can cry, lash out, give up, lose your mind, whatever. Or you can accept it for what it is, man the fuck up, and take up crochet. The only time I would advise leaving your location Obviously, I'm no expert on the matter, but the only time I would advise doing that would be if you're in a location on the globe that is within, say, 200 miles of the separation, the new equator, whatever you want to call it, where I'm guessing a lot of people are headed, and where there might be a survivable temperature, not too hot, not too cold. And we thought about it ourselves. We're like 3,500 miles from it, so driving there would be impossible, and so it was never really an option. But I would imagine that there's a lot of desperate people out there attempting to do that, probably even on foot, definitely by car. But yeah, you would really want to make sure that you've got enough gas in the tank or a full charge or whatever, and that you can actually make it. And if you can, and you're planning to do that, I wish you all the luck in the world. I mean, it has to be habitable, right? It makes sense that the temperature there would be just about perfect, where the two sides meet, the dark side of the earth and our side. So, Dan, I'm really curious to know what it's like, how many people are there, how many made it, what width is the safe zone between the two sides before it gets too hot or too cold. I mean, maybe that's the future of our civilization, humanity, living on the edge, quite literally. Just like new megacities being built all along the border between night and day, hot and cold, while the rest of us just become part of lore known as the outsiders on the inhospitable plains of planet Earth. Savages who live below ground in bunkers and caves and basements of old ruins in deserted ancient cities like New York and Tokyo. Future explorers will leave the safe zone and brave the elements to explore the frozen dark side of Earth or the side of perpetual light and heat. Imagine that. Them venturing off in 500 years and coming back with tales of a once thriving world and descriptions of the savages who now dwell there. Pale-skinned and gaunt from living underground for so many years, somehow managing to survive in a world where it shouldn't be possible. Meeting the descendants of a guy called Joe Rogan, whose face they have etched into the wall of a cave, to remember where they came from, a head resembling an egg. Because my head looks like an egg, but also because it's symbolic, I am from where they hatched, and their religion would be known as Joeism. That would be wild, man. Just imagine that to the people of the future in the safe zone, the rest of the Earth would be like some unexplored planet, wild, inhospitable, mysterious, the stuff of nightmares for children. The thought of that just blows my fucking mind, man, that that's what we could become. Civilizations have come and gone before, knowledge has been lost, and that's what could happen to us. The people of the future won't be able to possibly imagine a time when the whole Earth was inhabited and there was day and night and a fluctuation in temperature. It will be the stuff of legend. I mean, obviously, I hope it doesn't come to that, but either way, I don't think humanity will become extinct. Billions will die, there's no doubt about that, but we will survive and find a way to adapt, and whatever comes down the line will just become the new norm, and nobody will know any different. But for now, I'm just glad we have this bunker. It's pretty big. We've got everything we need. We're well stocked. We can easily survive down here for the next 7 to 10 years, maybe longer. But when I was first getting it built, my wife was like, Joe, what in the hell are you doing? Have you lost your mind? All you're doing is blowing your money on a glorified man cave. It's ridiculous, Joe. Stop it, Joe. Listen to me, Joe. But when shit hit the fan, she was like, quick, everyone, get to Daddy's man cave, quick. Let's go, go, go. Come on, Joe. So that was very satisfying. I enjoyed that a lot. But what the fuck is that? I've got this heat-resistant Mitsui camera so I can see what's going on outside. And shit. Holy shit. What the fuck? There's like a gigantic inferno just sweeping across the whole landscape like a sky-high wall of fire moving at like 100 miles an hour. Can you hear that? Can you fucking hear that? What the? It looks like a hurricane of flames, or like the blast from an atomic fucking bomb or some shit. What the hell? That shit is wild, man. I gotta go. I gotta check on the fam.
Don't know what I'm looking at in the distance, but it looks like a tsunami of fire moving from the northwest. It like seems to be kind of merging with the clouds. That is bizarre. What in the hell is that? It's moving at an insane speed. Maybe this is the Earth starting to rotate again. Could that be what it is? I don't know. I'm thinking it could be a sudden change in wind direction that's caused that. But I don't know. It's just consuming everything in its path, and part of it seems to be spreading this direction, and at the speed it's going, it's not going to be long getting to me. And I think at the moment, it looks to be about, I'm guessing, 8 to 10 miles away. And if you're not seeing it, it's literally like a giant tsunami, and everything behind it is just fire and plumes of smoke, literally a wall of fire reaching up to the sky and merging with the clouds. And like I said, maybe it's a sudden change in wind direction due to the Earth beginning to rotate. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not a scientist, but whatever that is scary as hell. And so I'm going to move deeper into the mind. This goes back a long way. So yeah, I'm going to make my way as far into the mind as I can and hope for the best. Speak later, guys. Hopefully, stay safe.
Trying to make our way to the safe zone where we saw a wall of fire in the distance and panic has set in. There's hundreds of us here and it's just chaos. People are running this thing, whatever it is moving really quick. It looks like a tsunami of fire. I don't know what's happening, but there's no way we can outrun this thing. It's just consuming everything in its path, and
Bangers and mash, serving it hot. Start the day right, give it all you got. A taste so rich, it's hard to resist. Who knew breakfast would be like this? Now,
there's families with their kids just running all directions trying to get to safety. It's just insane. Some are driving. They're just driving straight through people, hitting them with the car. There's blood and bodies everywhere. But no, there's no way we can outrun this. It's just moving too fast and gaining ground quickly on us. This is my last moments, and I'm not gonna run. I'm accepting my fate. This is it. And
Hi, my name.
Rescues arrived. The next squad in is going to block eastbound traffic at 51st and Rakesys. 51st and Washburn right there. 521, we'll be there. I see the alley blocked off on the very north side. Block 49, please. 502, I'm on scene. Copy 502, on scene. 5502, I'll be arriving in a block. 5502, arriving in a block. Information to 5th Precinct. Sergeant to acknowledge the sounds of shots fired. 118, 32nd Street East. 2 shots heard from the east. Copy 505. 531. 531. You heard those sounds from the station. There's a common area of fireworks. Copy 541. Those shots are possibly area of fireworks. 505. 505. 505. Last words turned and broken. 505. Turned and broken.
Aguanta por ahí. ¿Qué pasa, Pero Pablo con ella. Ahora un caca, no hay más. Adelante, canata. Vamos, caja, tierra, cuidado. Paraban, Betania. Paraban, Betania. Abarauca, acá. Abarauca, Laguna. Paraban, Betania. Abarauca, Laguna. Guayparú, Guaramacén.
Corren otro ahora y no me coque.
Guayparú, Guaramacén. Guayparú, Guaramacén. Adelante, Boquén, Gabanayén. Guayparú, Guaramacén. Adelante, Boquén, Gabanayén. Abarauca, para Copín. ¿Alguna estación que copió Boquén? Guayparú, Guaramacén. Abarauca, Laguna. Abarauca, Laguna.
To any education staff?
Education 1, loud and clear.
Received. Is there any other education on the station?
Education 2, but he may not hear you over the noise in the workshop.
See, thank you. Programs 1?
Programs 1, loud and clear.
Received. Is there any other program staff on station? Moving on to DNA. Nothing heard. Nurse 1. India 12. India 13 for radio check.
India 13.
Received. Stables 1. SEO for radio check. Education 1. Education 2. Education 3 or 4.
Dispatch controller range PD 6651 on duty. Radio check on vehicles to commence. Call Mike Bravo 471. Are you receiving? Mike Bravo 471 receiving loud and clear dispatch. PC Hard and PC Miles on duty. Receiving you 471. Mike Bravo 219. Are you receiving? Mike Bravo 219 receiving loud and clear dispatch. SCC Keen and PC Bryson on duty. Receiving you 219. Mike Bravo 115, are you receiving? Receiving loud and clear dispatch. SS Courtney and SCC Lake on duty. Receiving you 115. Call Mike Bravo 141, are you receiving? Call 219 to dispatch. Go ahead 219. The scene for call 141 hasn't cleared up yet. QM was taking a long career break. They'll be online in approximately 15 minutes.
John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was assassinated on November 22, 1963 at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time in Dallas, Texas. He was riding in the presidential motorcade through Dealey Plaza. Kennedy was riding with his wife Kathleen, Texas Governor John Connally, and Connally's wife Mary, when he was fatally shot by former U.S. Marine Lee Harvey Oswald firing in an ambush from a nearby building. Governor Connally was seriously wounded in the attack. The motorcade rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital, where Kennedy was pronounced dead, about 30 minutes after the shooting. Connally made a full recovery. Oswald was arrested by Dallas Police Department 70 minutes after the initial shooting. He was charged under Texas state law with the murder of Kennedy, as well as that of Dallas policeman J.D. Triffitt, who had been fatally shot after the assassination. At 11:21, November 24, 1963, as live television cameras were covering his transfer from the city jail to the county jail, Oswald was fatally shot in the basement of Dallas Police Headquarters by nightclub owner Jack Ruby.
$100, $99, $98, $97, $96, $95, $94, $93, $94, $95, $96, $97, $96, $97, $96, $97, $97, $96, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97, $97,
93, 92, 91, 90, 89, 88, 87, 86, 85, 84, 83, 82, 81, 80, 79, 78, 77, 76, 75, 74, 73, 72, 71, 70, 69, 68, 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,